Well, hi there. I want to talk about DoorDash today. I have a lot going on. I've been really busy, so I'm trying to throw a couple videos in there. I have talked about the truths of DoorDash. I've talked about being top dasher. I want to talk about the realistic expectations of what to expect when you deal with DoorDash. It's going to be a little bit more on the negative side of it, but I just want you guys to be aware of DoorDash. Not that I want to talk down about it, but like anything, it has its ups and it has its downs. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm also going to talk about some of the positives about it too. I don't want to be negative. I want to be encouraging. I want to be uplifting. So we're going to talk about the negatives and the positives. For everything negative, I'm going to try to come up with something positive. Okay? Little game. So let's get into it. We're going to start off. My name's Joe. I've been doing DoorDash for almost 4.5 years, 5 years. Technically, a little over 5 years actually, and I've done it full time for about 1.5 years now. 2 years now. Right around there. But okay, so a positive about DoorDash is the fact you can set your own hours. You can work whenever you want and all that stuff, and it works out great. The downside to it is if you're not top dasher, your schedule is going to be dependent on how many people are actually already running that they want to run. So in my hometown, morning time, there's a lot of times where I can find it busy, so I log on and I'll sit there and I'll wait because the top dashers will get the first orders first. Now, if there's plenty of orders, there's an extra one, I'll get it. But daytime, when it's light out, that's when the most people are out running, especially when it's between lunch and dinner. That is when it's the busiest with people. It starts to die down around 4 or 5 o'clock where people start coming out, but then there's others that come in like college kids, high school. But that's one of the downsides to it, is the fact that if you're not top dasher, you are stuck on a schedule that they give you. Kind of sucks. Now, another positive about it is you can make really good money. You're willing to, that's also the negative side to it. If you're willing to work like 5 o'clock in the morning till about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning the next day, you can come out making $200, $300, $400. It really depends on how hard you work, how long you stay on, if you're top dasher or not, that type thing. But to make good money, you really need to put the time and the effort and the hours in, or else you're just not going to do it. For supper time, I've done, unless it's a Friday and Saturday, you're probably looking about $40 to $80 between 4:30 and 6:30, 7:30-ish, someplace in there. Just depends how many runs you get, how busy you are, how far they are, all that fun stuff. Again, the positive side is you can make good money. The negative side, you can work a lot of hours. To make that money, you have to work a lot of hours. Now, if you're multi-apping, which means that you're running Uber Eats or Lyft or some other stuff with it, you could easily make really good money in a very short time if you go to a big city and you run them both together, or you run multiple apps together like Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all of them together. You can make really good money if you can figure out how to balance it all out together. But the reality is, DoorDash, there's a lot of people that's out there saying, yeah, I average this, and I make this, and I do this. And the reality is, a lot of them will be out there saying one thing when the truth is something totally different. I've had people say that they went to someplace in Cleveland in this particular area, and they made $1,500, $1,600 in a day and a half. If you're running all the apps together, and you're running more than just food apps, yeah, I can see that. Because I know people that run 5, 6, 7 apps at one time. Food, delivery, shopping, all of it together. And you can do really good if you know how to balance it. And they've done it for a while, so they are really good at it. I know I would struggle with that, but... So yeah, he probably did do really well. for me, yeah, I went there. It did not work for me. It was too clustered. It was all the intersections were overlapping each other. If I turned the one way, it wasn't too bad. If I turned the other way, I was stuck sitting there for a long time. So, and I'm not saying the guy didn't do what he said, but there's a lot of people that say, I had one person say that they did $600 in one morning. And in Findlay, if you're running really good between breakfast and lunch, you can make $100 especially on a weekend. If you're running solid and busy and you don't stop. But to say that you made $600 in one morning just on one app, yeah, that don't happen. I'm not trying to put the person down, but maybe they were meant for the week and they said for the morning. I don't know. Anything's possible, but some things you got to be realistic about it. Number 3, if you got to get a hold of customer support for anything, some people say they have good luck with it. I know the majority of people I know, it's the complete opposite. You got to make 10, 20 calls to get one thing done. You have to be rated, be willing to hang up on them and keep calling back, and maybe even be put on hold for long times. Their customer support is second to the worst of anything I've ever dealt with. They're really good at saying, we really care about our drivers, but we want you to text instead of call us while you're on the road. We don't want you to be safe, but we want you to do this instead of that. And you got to take pictures and take screenshots and take this and take that. And you're on the road. You're driving. You're trying to get stuff done. You can't stop or else you're going to lose money. But they're not willing to compensate for that stuff. So their customer support really isn't the greatest. And they are very, 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 and I can't stress this enough, frustrating. Now, you do occasionally get a person to call where you call the first time and they will definitely help you out. They'll put a note in about what everybody else has done and they will get the problem solved. So that's a good and a positive. So that is a positive once in a blue moon, that they really will work with you and tell you what it is. But the majority of them will argue over something that I have actually had it in writing. Like a lot of times I'll say, whatever your rule is, I want it in writing. And then they will argue after they send it to you. So, and the app is going downhill. There's a lot more problems that's coming across more and more that they say they're trying to fix, and the reality is they don't fix it. So that is a positive and a negative. The positive is the fact that once in a while you do get somebody that really does care, and they will actually take care of you on the first shot. The negative is that's very few and far between, because a lot of times you're making literally 10 to 20 calls to get one thing done. And I've had it where I just need them to call a customer and you explain the whole situation, and then they turn around and say, so what's your problem? I just explained it. You know, that's a lot of what you deal with. So their customer support is second to none of being the worst of anything I've ever seen. Out of all the apps, I think DoorDash is among the top worst to deal with. Now, other people have said otherwise. I hope you guys are lucky that do run it with it, but that's a negative. Another positive for running DoorDash is the fact that you can make a living on it. You can make a really good living on it. Last year and a half, I've done that. I've had a bunch of health issues that I've been dealing with, and I took a gamble. I got this car. Now, again, I wasn't just running DoorDash. Again, multi-platform is the way to go. And I found something else that actually runs better, so I'm doing DoorDash very minimally right now. But yeah, their customer support has cost me money, a lot, lately. But anyway, so that's the positive, is you can make a living off it. Now the negative is, and again, this is more recent, but I've had several times where they have actually canceled the order on me while I'm delivering it. And this has happened quite a bit over the last month and a half. But they have canceled the order on me, so one, it counts against me. And then they want me to still deliver it even though I'm not getting paid for it. So, sometimes you talk to the customer, they'll give you some cash to make up for it. I've actually had one support agent that actually I called 20 times, and the last one actually went through and actually gave me the half payment I'm supposed to get because he actually understood and took the time to actually understand and listen. Whereas most of them were just saying, well, that's not our problem, it's your problem, even though they're the ones that did it. But yeah, he did give me the half pay. But again, that was 5 calls later. So, again, once in a while, you get a customer support agent that will understand your side and will actually take your side. And regardless of what the rules are, will go through and make sure you get taken care of. But the app is really glitching in a lot of ways. And their customer support has actually canceled orders on me and then said I'm the one that canceled it, even though I didn't touch it. But again, a lot of times I have called in enough times to get somebody that can actually help me to take care of the problem. It's frustrating, it's irritating, but it does get done. And that's the positive and the negative with it. But you can make a really good living, and eventually you're going to find somebody that can actually be willing to help you. And once in a while, you get somebody on the first call. Not very often, but it does happen. And when they do, you just feel like $1 million because you feel like you just won the jackpot. Now, another negative about running DoorDash, and this is probably my last one, is the fact that you are running your own car, your own miles. You can really rack up the miles really quick. You multi-app even more. You run Lyft, you're going to just kill your miles. With DoorDash, you can really, really absolutely freaking just load on the miles every week. And you have car repairs, you have all that stuff. The positive about it is, let's say I decide to take a vacation down in Tennessee and I run a little bit of DoorDash down there. As soon as I start running DoorDash down in Tennessee and I'm taking vacation down there and I run maybe a couple orders, that whole vacation is now tax write-off. But your tax write-offs, there's a lot of ways you can do tax write-offs. There's itemization, there's mileage, there's itemization and mileage. Obviously, if I'm doing mileage, I can't put the car repairs, gasoline, and stuff like that into it, but I can put my phone and any food I pay for and all that jazz in it. So you rack up the miles, but there's a positive and a negative with it. This year, I'm going to take a nice vacation with my daughter. I don't know where we're going to go. I haven't got that all figured out. But when I do it, I'm going to pop on DoorDash, maybe run an order or two, and all of a sudden, that whole order, that whole trip is now tax deductible. The place we stay at would be tax write-off. The gas I use, or the mileage, the cottage I buy, the food I buy, all tax write-off because I'm running DoorDash. So you can't argue that I'm not taking that time to run DoorDash or Instacart or Uber Eats or Grubhub or whatever. So tax write-off, and I'm not going to get big into that because I don't know all the ins and outs of taxes, but tax write-offs is the fact that you can write off anything that you spend while you're working. And it also includes the mileage to work. Like if I'm going to Cleveland, all that miles going to Cleveland to run DoorDash is included. So tax write-offs offset the fact that you don't get paid taxes for DoorDash. You can come out even usually if you do it right. But you have to do it right. And I'm going to a tax accountant, and I'm paying more money than I usually do for a tax accountant. But you know what? If they can get it right and there's no questions, I don't get audited, I'm happy. And I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to do things right. But yeah, that's my positives and negatives about running with DoorDash. I try to do mostly the realities of it, but I also want you guys to be aware. If you guys have other feedbacks, other negatives, other positives, which I'm sure there's plenty out there for both. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Please give me feedback. That's the purpose of this video, is to get feedback. Top Dasher is a really good thing to have. It's irritating to get to it, and you got to really stress sometimes, and you got to work your butt off at the end of the month. Again, with me working the job I took DoorDash back down to part-time. I don't need it like I did. And that's a good thing. That's the other negative I want to throw in real quick is I know a lot of places that are trying to go to their own delivery so they can get rid of DoorDash. It's losing interest. It's losing flavor. But it still is very strong. So don't be hesitant to run it. You can make good money. Get in your local hometown, run some orders. You're in town for any reason, you live out of town, but you're in town for a little bit and you have extra spare time, run a couple orders. It gets addicting. You also get to meet some people. Some stores, they absolutely love DoorDash, and it's easy to get along with them. If you try to get along, and that's the other thing. If you work really hard to get along with people, guess what? They'll probably most likely get along with you. I go to McDonald's by my house to do orders, and there's several people that's there that I absolutely joke with. I've known them before from other things, and same thing with Taco Bell or something like that. I have gotten a good rapport with a lot of these places. There's a bunch of other restaurants I can name off too, where I just have a really good rapport. I'm easygoing. I get frustrated, but they know when I do get frustrated, it's not directed at them. They know that, things are going to get frustrating. So they don't take it personally, and they know my personality. I joke with them. So they know when I'm not joking, they know I'm not exactly happy. So they just kind of say hi, and we go on our ways. But anyway, I really do enjoy this kind of job. Like I said, I kind of picked up something else that kind of is the same concept, just something else. But this is the realities of DoorDash from somebody who's done it for a long time. And there's people out there that have feedback on it. Share the feedback. Give me feedback. And you guys be blessed. And again, I'm trying to be uplifting, but I'm also trying to be honest and truthful. I enjoy it. I'm sure you will too. You guys have a good night and be blessed.